I've got a very special guest with me today, and that is Elena Love of Pure Joy Academy. And Elena has been a raw chef for over 15 years, and she is an absolute legend and is world renowned. So I'm super excited to have her today. And Elena's going to teach us how to make coconut kefir.
Yeah, thanks. It's great to be here. Yes, coconut kefir is one of my specialties. I love coconut. I love the yogurt that you can make from the coconut kefir, and just even the beverage is fantastic. Yeah. And did you know that kefir means feel good?
Yeah, I believe awesome. That.
When I drink this, I get that little buzz going, like, oh, I feel so good. I can do all these things. So we're going to teach you about that today, about how to make a really great kefir. So the first thing you want to do is take a coconut, a young coconut, as you know, and we're going to open it. And the best way to open a coconut is with a cleaver versus don't use your expensive knife, because you spend $100 on a knife and you don't want to ruin it. So a coconut blade you can get at any Asian market for fairly inexpensive. Yeah. What you want to do is you want to open the coconut and turn it on its side like this. These are Thai coconuts, so they look like this because they've gone through a machine first. So I hold the blade actually on the actual blade because it gives me more control than just here, and I can really get a good grip and push. So what you're going to do is use your blade to push around in a circle to get that edge, the hull off of it. And I call this getting the bald monk's head because there's like a little hard shell in there. And as you push down, you can kind of see my knife hits the shell. So obviously I can't cut any further. You want to really make sure you get all that fiber off, because if the fiber's not off, you're not going to be able to pop it open. Now this is the part that's really fun because it's kind of like a magic trick. Everybody gets really thrilled when they see how easily this opens. So what you want to do is take the back corner of your knife and just give it a good whack, like that. And you can hear it go in. Don't be afraid, like kind of go for it. And then once you get that corner in, you're just going to pull straight up. See how this corner is going towards the blade? My hand is pulling up. So that's the trick. Pull up. Look at that.
Wow.
Perfect. I didn't even break the meat with that, so you could take the corner of your knife and just open that. And you
that's when everyone goes,
great water inside. Now this is great. Okay, what we look for when we open the coconut is a clear water. So I'm going to show you what that looks like by pouring it. Maybe I'll pour it into the blender here. Oh yeah. We'll pour it in here so then you can see that the water is clear. Now I opened one earlier today and the water was pink. If the water is pink, that means there's bacteria in it, pink or purple. So you want to get rid of that because you don't want to, you're doing this for your health. You don't want to be drinking bacteria. So this is perfect.
So yellow or slightly off color is
Yellow or white or clear, but no pinkness to it. So that's beautiful. So what we're going to do now is you could do up to 4 coconuts this way. And usually about 4 cups of water, coconut water, is a good amount to make a batch of kefir. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a culture packet. Now this one's Body Ecology by Donna Gates. You can get these online. I think you sell them, I carry them, depending on where you live in the world. You can order these online. Body Ecology. And this has an already ready to go kefir starter in it. So all you do is just add that to the water. So it's super easy. So you just open the packet and blend it in. And it's nice to have these coconuts at room temperature, or maybe warm the water a little bit, because what happens is the culture will go quicker. If you don't do that, I'm just going to see if I can get this open with a knife. If you don't do that, then just after you make it, just put it on the dehydrator and it'll warm it right away. Like maybe, I don't know what it is in Celsius, but in Fahrenheit it's about 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so we're just going to empty this packet into there. And you don't even have to use the whole packet. You could even get away with using half the packet, honestly.
So would this keep in for another time?
Yeah, and you just would keep it in the fridge closed, like in a Ziploc bag. Okay, so now that I've got it in here, there's a little bit of granule, so you could just quickly give it a spin on your Vitamix. Or if you don't have a Vitamix, any blender, or even just shaking it really well. So honestly, just like a quick spin like that. Okay, so now once you've blended it, we've got about 4 cups of water in here. We're going to put it into a sanitized jar. Now you've just put some boiling water in this, so it's nice and good and ready to go. Now the reason we want to do that is we want to make sure we don't get any bacteria into the jar. So you want to make sure, like, you run it through a dishwasher or you pour hot boiling water in it. Just make sure your jar is really clean. Same with your blender, because any bacteria that gets in there is going to affect your culture. So it's always got to be clean, especially, even when you do sauerkraut and anything like that. So this is a great jar because it's got a rubber seal on the top, and it's perfect. You can use a mason jar as well. And
so how do you know if the culture is off or if there's bad bacteria in there?
Okay, so you smell it. You can smell it and taste it.
Yeah.
Now, it should taste, the longer you let this culture, the more it'll get sour.
Yeah.
Some people like it just slightly sweet and slightly effervescent, and that's great too. But what's happening is this culture is actually eating all the sugar from the coconut water. Now, a lot of people ask me, can you use almond milk? Can you use something else to culture the kefir in? It needs to be something a little bit sweet.
Yeah.
So if you're using, you could even use water, honestly, with a little coconut sugar in there. Or some people use like raisins in their water, different things. So you can use different kinds of things, but the coconut has the best flavor, honestly.
Yeah, beautiful.
And so we've tasted it where it's gotten really sour. It's so sour that it feels like, you know,
Vinegar.
bubbly water, or vinegary. So it's really all up to you how long you let it sit. So we were talking a little bit earlier about we want the water to be warm. Now this is really cold because it's been in the refrigerator. The coconuts have been refrigerated. So you can do a couple things. You can warm this up by warming it up on the stovetop first, just lightly warming it. You do not want to cook or boil it. It wants to be like about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius.
I think it's like about 25, maybe maximum 30 degrees Celsius.
Okay, good. And then the other option is, now that this is cold and we've already done the culture, we would just close it up. And then if you've got a food dehydrator, you can put it right on the top of your dehydrator and run that dehydrator at about maybe 40 degrees inside, 40 Celsius. That's probably about 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And then this can go on top with a towel over it, and it'll kind of incubate it and keep it warm. And then by tomorrow, check it in maybe 24 hours, 12 to 24 hours, it should start to change. Now this one's been cultured already, so let's put them side by side. You can see this one's gotten a little more milky looking. Can you see?
Cloudy, yeah.
So what that is, you know what that is in there? That's actually the bacteria are growing. So the more it sits, the more the bacteria grows and the more sour it becomes and the more probiotics you get. So you know, you're spending all this money to go to the store and buy like a $40 probiotic, whereas you can make this yourself and have, and the great thing is I can take this and take like a quarter cup out of here and start a new batch.
Great. So it's
Anytime.
just constantly going.
Yeah,
and just
always
buying
going.
coconuts and do one every
Yeah.
week, and you've always got a batch.
Yes.
That's great. It's so
I
easy.
know, and it's always around, and you know, like even kids will drink it. Yeah. Speaking of kids drinking it, we kind of have our little tricks of what we like to do. We've got essences, so flavorings. You can use extracts. These are medicine flower flavorings. There's one called blueberry. This one's called tropical fruit. You could put a little bit of that into your kefir, into this one.
Or into that one?
Not this one. You want to wait till it cultures because it'll probably eat some of it.
Yeah.
So once it's finished, you put a couple drops. You only need a drop or two in this whole bottle, and maybe some stevia to sweeten, because a lot of the reasons we're doing the kefir is to get rid of things like candida and yeast, so you don't want to add sugar to your food, even coconut sugar to something like a probiotic. You want to use like a stevia or something that's not going to feed yeast and candida.
Absolutely.
So stevia and a little essence will make it taste like soda, and even the kids will love that. So it's a great way to get, you know,
So great way to get that sweet
family
flavor.
members, kids, whoever's not normally into all this healthy stuff. These two items, stevia and some essence, will be a great addition.
Tricks.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to add them in. Do you want to do that now?
Should we do it now, and then we'll have a shot? Well, let's taste it.
Yeah.
See what we think. So honestly, I have kind of a strong sweet tooth, so I tend to use more stevia than most. But I think you would probably, how many drops would you use? Why don't you do the stevia?
I would do maybe just 3, because I know that equals a teaspoon.
Okay.
So 3 drops.
And remember, for those of you who don't use stevia, it's very powerful. It's about 200 times sweeter than sugar.
Yeah.
So really not much. And then because there's no fat in this, if I was doing a dessert, I could use more drops. But because there's no fat, really honestly, 1 drop or maybe 2 is all I need for that whole bottle.
Just to give it that
little bit of tropical flavor.
A little bit of
Yeah.
lift.
So shall we have a taste and see what we think?
Let's just give it a little shake.
So then this could sit in your fridge, like you were saying, for months. I keep things in the back of the fridge where it's nice and cold, and it doesn't really go bad. But you were asking like how to know when it goes bad. You want to smell it, and if it smells, the only way to describe it is like rancid. Like if there's a smell of badness, you wouldn't want to use it. You kind of know. Your nose can tell you right away. If it smells sweet and good and nice, or it smells like nothing, then you're in good shape.
To me, that smells a bit like a creamy, sort of coconutty.
Oh, it smells beautiful.
Yeah.
You can smell the undertones of the culture.
And
Kind of
the
sourness.
longer you leave that in the fridge, does it actually still start to, eat the sugar and become quite sort of
It will get
sour?
more and more sour as it sits. So some of us don't like it to be ridiculously sour. I mean, I enjoy that, but here's another thing. At first, when your body's getting used to probiotics, a little bit is all you need, because you can actually get a die-off reaction where you might get a headache or you might get nauseous. It's not a bad thing. It means you probably have candida and you're having a die-off reaction. So you want to start with less. Like this is a good amount. Like you don't want to be drinking glasses of this, even if you love it. So let's toast here to our health.
To our health.
Wow. The tropical flavor is great, and just the Kefir.
It's amazing.
Perfect.
It's like
it's really good.
It's kind of reminding me of summer, you know, maybe a Malibu drink, but obviously without the side effects.
Oh, we're so lucky.
It's so nice. I'm actually really impressed with that. That was just
you made that yesterday. That was
so
great.
Quick. And now we've got another batch going. I love it.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what to do with the meat once we've got the coconut open. We can just take an ice cream scoop, which I find to be really easy, and just put it right inside and just scoop the meat out. I know, it is.
Delicious.
So we can make a yogurt, because a lot of people that are trying to go off dairy, now, you know, going off dairy is important for a lot of people because it can contribute to asthma, it can contribute to eczema and a lot of skin problems. Even yogurt, you know, where people think it's really healthy, a lot of the ways that they're manufacturing yogurt these days are not really like the old traditional ways. So unless you're making your own with dairy, you know, you don't really know what you're getting. But I like to use the coconut because it's here and it's so creamy and delicious. So what you would want to do is just put all this coconut meat into your blender.
Yeah.
Blend that with the probiotic, just a little bit, and then you make a nice creamy kind of consistency and culture it in the exact same way in a jar.
So we could take this, which has already been cultured for about 36 to 48 hours, pop that in the blender with the coconut, and then pour that into a jar, and then we have cultured coconut yogurt in a couple of days.
Yeah, and you can eat that with your strawberries or blueberries or whatever you want to put with it.
So easy.
Yeah, super easy.
Who would want to eat dairy when we can have all this amazing stuff just out of a coconut?
And you saw how easy it was to open.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Elena. That has been pure joy, and I hope you enjoyed that, and we look forward to hearing from you. Please leave a comment or feedback on how you went making your coconut kefir. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.
Bye.